Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Amy. I'm part of the education team here at Childnet, part of the UK Safer Internet Centre. And I am so pleased to have some time today to tell you a little bit more about the upcoming Safer Internet Day celebrations, including, of course, all of the resources available to help you run activities in your school or youth group setting. So before we get started, I wanted to let you know that you can submit questions via the Q&A, and we will be leaving some time at the end of today's 30 to 40-minute session to make sure that we can answer those. Now, in our work with the Childnet Education team, a big part of our job is travelling to schools all around the country, talking to children aged 3 to 18 years old, parents, carers, and professionals about online safety. And everyone in the team here also comes from an education background, so we know firsthand how valuable your time is and how many plates you've got to keep spinning. So, our aim today is to tell you everything you need to know about the upcoming Safer Internet Day campaign, and most importantly, to signpost you to the various resources that are available completely for free. Safer Internet Day is a global campaign. It's celebrated in over 100 different countries every year, and it normally falls on a Tuesday in early February. As you can see from the screen, this year Safer Internet Day is going to be celebrated on Tuesday, the 11th of February 2025. So here in the UK, the day is coordinated by the UK Safer Internet Centre. Oh, it's my doorbell going off in the background. The UK Safer Internet Centre is a partnership between three organisations: Childnet, the Internet Watch Foundation, and the South West Grid for Learning. Now, it's really worth checking out each of those organisations individually, as they each offer different resources and support available for you in your role. And we are also joined on the session today by colleagues from the Keeping Safe Online team at Hub and ISCOL, who we've been working with really closely to help ensure Safer Internet Day is a success in Wales. So to kick us off, we would like to welcome Sarah Cooper, Head of the Digital Resilience team at the Welsh Government, to say a few words.
Diolch, Amy. Prynhawn da bawb. Good afternoon, everybody. As Amy said, I'm Sarah Cooper, and I'm proud to be working with the Digital Resilience and Education team within Hub, Welsh Government, and I'm also joined by my colleague Josh Henley from the team also today. So wanted to just take the opportunity as we're here to celebrate Safer Internet Day, just to remind colleagues on the call of the range of resources that are available through the Keeping Safe Online area of Hub. You can find us via the shield that you can see on the slide there. That's got the square just to highlight exactly where we are. And in Keeping Safe Online, we have a wealth of information that does not require a Hub login for you to access. So as you can see, there's a bit of a summary there. Our aim is to provide schools with training, information, resources, guidance to help with three predominant factors. So digital resilience, particularly with the education lens, but not solely for that. To understand current trends in children and young people's online behaviour. And we do that also by engaging directly with young people through our Keeping Safe Online, Keeping Safe Online youth group, which we're proud to be working with Presidio Safeguarding to deliver. And you might be interested to know that on Safer Internet Day itself, the group will be convening in its current iteration for the first time in person. So we're really excited to have a real life event rather than relying on the digital approach. Again, the resources there are all there to support the curriculum for Wales. So all resources that you'll find on the Keeping Safe Online area of Hub are fully bilingual and entirely supportive of the curriculum for Wales. And there are huge sources of information on a large variety of issues for learners, for practitioners, and for families and carers. You could go into the next one. Thank you. So for practitioners on how to support learners, there are a variety of different areas on the Keeping Safe Online pages. I would encourage you, if you can, to check them out. And these include app guides. We work with our Keeping Safe Online youth group to identify which apps are the most popular for our young people. There's usually around about 45 to 50 app guides, and we try to keep that as refreshed as we possibly can. There's the Views from the Experts piece, which are blogs from a range of experts, including those from the UK Safer Internet Centre, on a variety of different topics. We've been proud to be able to launch our digital citizenship materials on AI literacy, which are available now. And also, there's the online issues and worries advice, which is designed specifically for children and young people on a range of issues, including sharing nudes, sextortion, online bullying, a variety of elements which are aimed at children and young people, but we would suggest are equally as valuable to practitioners, families as well, bearing in mind it doesn't require a login to get through. And also, more importantly, there are links directly there for reporting and support services should anything go wrong and any young learner wishes to raise a concern. So for this year, again, we're really proud to be celebrating Safer Internet Day. And this year we're looking for schools to help us out to develop the content that we have on the Keeping Safe Online pages to support the SID 2025 theme. So specifically on online scams, misinformation and Gen AI. We're very, very keen for schools to share with us some of the activities that you're doing, the learning with your young people, so that we can collate that and really showcase that on Keeping Safe Online, not just to celebrate what you and your learners are doing, but to give some thoughts, some encouragement, some inspiration to other schools as to what activities they may want to take forward. So if you have anything, if you'd like to engage with us in that way, please do share what you're doing with your learners. For Gen AI, obviously this month that's an even more hot topic. It's been of getting increasing importance, particularly over the last 18 months or so. And Welsh Government published some AI considerations information on Monday of last week. And we're going to be popping some links into the Q&A for further information, not just on the AI considerations piece, but Estin have launched a survey wanting to hear from schools directly as to their experiences of using AI in schools, and that will help inform our global response, and particularly to help inform our work within the Digital Resilience and Education team in Hub as to how schools are currently using AI, and that will help develop further advice, guidance and resources. That survey should be available until March, so we would really encourage you to take part in that, and links to that will be on the Q&A side. Thank you. We've been working really closely with the UK Safer Internet Centre and Childnet to ensure that the education packs for Safer Internet Day are bilingual, and they're all fully available on Hub as well. So you'll be able to access everything that you need and everything that Amy is kindly going to go through for the rest of this session via Hub as well. And top tips for learners and their families will also be made available bilingually also. So there should be a wealth of information for you to access. And finally, we're really proud to be partnering with eSchool this year to develop the whole school assemblies in the run up to, and indeed on SID Day itself. I'm not going to go into details with that because Siwan is able to join the session today to explain that in more detail. But again, we hope that these will prompt inspiration, ideas, suggestions on how you can celebrate SID and celebrate the achievements of learners in considering SID moving forward. So please do share any contributions so that we can really showcase what you're doing via the Keeping Safe Online area of Hub. And thanks in advance for all of that you might be able to provide. And that'll be for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And again, thank you to the team for all of your kind of support with the translation of the Safer Internet Day resources into Welsh. We'll be getting onto those very shortly. But for now, let's just talk briefly about the aims of Safer Internet Day. So Safer Internet Day is about inspiring a national conversation. It's about using technology responsibly, respectfully, critically, and creatively. We want to empower children and young people to speak up about their digital lives, and we want to empower adults to engage and listen to really get that deeper understanding of young people's experiences. So last year, the campaign reached over half of children and young people in the UK and a third of UK parents and carers. And this was only possible thanks to the incredible support from schools, youth groups, libraries, police forces, charities, government, and the internet industry. So why should you and the young people that you work with participate in Safer Internet Day? Well, every year we run a survey after the day to kind of gauge the impact that the campaign can have. And last year, 77% of the young people that we spoke to said they felt more confident about what to do if something is worrying them online as a result of the day. Furthermore, 31% told us they had spoken to a parent or carer about something that had been worrying them online after hearing about the day. And we also spoke to parents and carers themselves about their experiences, and 72% of them told us they had talked to their child about using the internet safely as a result of the day. Perhaps most notably, 53% of the education practitioners we surveyed after Safer Internet Day 2024 said the conversations started by the campaign led to disclosures about potential safeguarding or child protection issues online. So that is a lot of young people getting support and advice who otherwise might have been facing that problem on their own. We know that participating in Safer Internet Day, kind of raising the profile of online safety and starting those conversations about life online, can have a very real and very important impact for the children and young people you work with. But I am sure that you really don't need us to tell you the importance of online safety. The internet technology is a huge part of all of our lives, including children and young people. And whilst we know that can bring opportunities and excitement and so many other positives, there are, of course, always going to be risks. And as professionals, we all have that duty of care to safeguard the young people we work with. And I'm sure that you will agree, online safety is a really vital part of this. We also know that lots of you are already doing amazing work in this space. So whether you are delivering messages during lessons, assemblies, whether you have a really comprehensive kind of whole school or setting approach, we feel confident that Safer Internet Day has a role to play. It's not about delivering all of your online safety messages in one day, but we do see it as a really great opportunity to engage young people with the topic, to keep it at the forefront of everyone's minds. It's kind of a chance to celebrate technology and the opportunities it can offer, whilst also starting really important conversations about young people's online experiences that can continue all year long. And I will say it is also really good fun. So participating means joining in with thousands of other organisations all across the country. And whatever your role, we have resources to help you get involved with the day. So even if you have just 5 minutes, if you have an hour, or even if you want to dedicate a whole week to the celebrations. Now, every year in the UK, we choose a different theme for Safer Internet Day. So previous years have included important topics such as reliability online, consent, online identity, and last year we focused on change, particularly looking at generative AI. This year, after consulting children and young people, hearing about what they're seeing and experiencing, Safer Internet Day will be focusing on scams online. So our full strapline is too good to be true, protecting yourself and others from scams online. Now, we hear from young people all the time about the scams they've spotted. So what we want to do with this theme is assess the real scale of this issue and allow young people to share their experiences and ideas on how to tackle the problem. We want to build on the important work being done to raise awareness of issues such as online financial sextortion. And we're also going to be considering the future of scams. So trying to answer questions such as how is changing technology like generative AI going to impact the approach of scammers? What role can the government and internet industry take to tackle this threat? And what changes would young people like to see to help protect themselves moving forward? On the screen, you can hopefully see a word cloud which has been generated from some of the terms used in our focus groups whilst developing the theme for this year. And what I will say is it's been really clear from the start that young people's experiences of this issue are really varied, but that they are being exposed to increasingly sophisticated methods. So we've heard stories from children about phishing scams, scams encouraging investment in cryptocurrency, gaming scams. There were also quite a few mentions of fake tickets to things like Taylor Swift's Eras tour. And young people also told us kind of not only about their concern for themselves, but also for their parents, carers, and grandparents who they know might be victims of scams as well. So we're really hoping that this theme is going to resonate across generations and really allow for some fantastic conversations at home as well as in schools and settings. We want to share online safety messages, advice, and techniques that young people and those who support them can use to make the most of their time online in a safe, enjoyable, and supportive way. And we also want to give people the skills they need to spot scams online, as well as the ways to report when they've been the victim of a scam. So hopefully we have kind of sold you on the theme, but what I now want to do is spend a bit of time exploring the resources available to support you in engaging with Safer Internet Day 2025. So let's start with the downloadable activity packs. You can find all of the resources for free on the Safer Internet Centre website, as well as on Hub. And if you are heading to the Safer Internet Centre website, the page is going to look just like this, and you will need to click on the tab labelled Education Resources, which you can see down at the bottom of that screenshot. So as in previous years, we have provided 4 sets of resources, each designed for working with a different age range: 3 to 7s, 7 to 11s, 11 to 14s, and 14 to 18s. And each pack includes instructions and resources for 4 adaptable activities, including a quiz, and then also an assembly. And all of the resources are available in English and also Welsh, thanks to that support we've had from the Welsh Government. Okay, I think we might be ready to take a look at the resources. What I'm going to do is go through pack by pack, but I would really recommend sticking around and listening to the full session. All of the activities are designed to be adaptable, so even those packs that are created for older or younger children than the learners you work with, they may still have something that you want to try out or adapt. And remember, we've got that Q&A that we are going to finish up with at the end. So when you download each pack, you are going to find 4 documents which are numbered and named for ease of use. And I would recommend starting with the PDF, which lists all of the different activities, and it is helpfully labelled as document number 1. So this document starts with an overview of the theme, and this is also where you're going to find some really important guidance, so advice about establishing a safe and supportive learning environment, and advice on responding to safeguarding concerns or potential disclosures. Naturally, your settings, safeguarding procedures and policies, they need to be your first port of call here, but there is support and advice available in the resources should you need it. Further through this document, you're going to reach the activity overviews. So you can see one of these on the screen in yellow. At the top of each activity, you will find an approximate running length and learning objectives, along with a list of everything that you're going to need to deliver that activity. So that includes a reference to any supporting slides, which, if you do need them, will be available in the PowerPoint, which is document number 2 in your download. We've also worked very hard to ensure the activities are adaptable, and whilst in previous years we have provided activities specifically for learners with additional learning needs, this year we've taken a slightly different approach, and what we've done is for every single activity across every single pack, we've made specific suggestions on how they could be adapted to best support those learners with additional needs. So let's start with the 3 to 7s. As you can expect, the key messages at this age are straightforward and focus on simple concepts that we would anticipate children are already familiar with, so things like trusted adults, seeking help, and personal information. We do have some activities that show examples of scams, but there is definitely no expectation on practitioners to explicitly use that language, and we encourage you to really meet learners where they are. If you only have 15 minutes, I would recommend the big picture activity, which you can see on the screen, and it features 3 characters, Pip, Dom, and Zach. The idea of this activity is to either print or display the pictures you can see here, and then ask learners to describe what they think is happening. So as well as being an opportunity to develop language and storytelling skills, this activity is a really good initial assessment tool to explore what learners already know about this issue and their level of recognition around what's going on. The next activity for 3 to 7s is one that would work really well with a class or larger group, and it features a short written story about Samira, who loves playing her favourite game on her tablet. Samira has been saving up to buy a special item in her game, but she has to dodge a few scams and other issues before she can get to that point. And this story really provides a lot of opportunities for discussion, but the main aim of the activity is to reflect on how using technology can impact our emotions. So we've got a set of 6 emotion cards, which you might recognise from previous years. And the idea is that whilst you're reading the story aloud, there are set points in the narrative, and you can ask learners which of the 6 emotions they think Samira might be feeling. The next activity in the 3 to 7 pack is one of the easiest ones to make your own. So for starters, it is actually 2 activities in one. We have a sorting game and a matching game. And the objective of this activity is really about identifying examples of personal information. So for learners who might already be familiar with what personal information is, I would suggest the sorting activity. They need to sort the cards between what is and is not safe to share online. And then the matching activity is slightly simpler, and it just uses cards that only show personal information so that the children can really familiarise themselves with those particular examples. And our final activity for the 3 to 7s is a quiz, and it is also on a theme that we know lots of settings already cover with their learners. So it comes with a short accompanying slide deck, and it focuses, as we can see, on trusted adults. So who should children be talking to if they have a problem or worry when they're using technology? And one thing we've been very careful to include in this is messaging around always talking to someone who is a grown up, because when we're out and about in schools, lots of children tell us that when they're online, they'll choose to go to a sibling or a friend instead. Now, every pack includes a quiz, and we have provided them all in 2 formats. So firstly, you can find them as a clickable interactive quiz on the UK Safer Internet Centre website. So you could pop this up on a screen in your setting, work through it with a group. You're going to be given feedback on each answer as you go through, and you'll get a score at the end. And then alternatively, we have also provided the questions and answers for the quizzes in a Word document format, which is document number 3 in the packs. All of this is because we've had feedback from practitioners previously that they would have liked to adapt the quizzes to the software and platforms they're already using in school, things like Kahoot. So hopefully this makes this as easy as possible to do. Let's move on to the 7 to 11s now. And if you only have 15 minutes with this age range, we actually think the quiz is a really great activity to run. Unlike the 3 to 7 quiz, this one is a lot broader in focus, and it covers a whole range of different types of scams, as well as key advice like spotting scams, reporting, and getting help. And the quiz, as I said, is available in that interactive version and then a plain text version in the Word document in your pack. Now, for our focus groups for this age, the children were definitely familiar with the term scam, using it really confidently to describe a range of things they were seeing online. So what we've tried to do is build on that existing knowledge with this acronym. It uses the word scam to help learners recall how they can spot the signs that something online might be trying to trick them. So seeming too good to be true, contacting them when they didn't expect it, like a random message or maybe a pop-up, asking for personal information, or a trade. And I have been informed that the acronym does translate to Welsh as well, which is fantastic. So this activity is about applying those 4 signs of a scam to different scenarios. It's provided as a slide deck, which includes an introduction and a definition at the start, and then a set of examples to work through. And for each one, the idea is to ask learners to indicate which signs of a scam they think apply. So this could be done by writing the relevant letters on a mini whiteboard, or maybe giving different groups the different signs and asking them to raise their hands if they think their specific sign does apply. And then one of our most adaptable activities for this age range is the Protect Your Profile, which we should be able to see up close here. This is provided as a PowerPoint slide, but could also be printed for learners to use as a worksheet. And the picture you can see on your screen is essentially a risk spotting activity, and it has loads of different examples for further discussion. So you could choose to do this as a group or an independent task, and you could challenge learners to see how many problems they can find, or you could focus on a particular one. Our final activity for this age range is one of my favourites. It features the trustworthy trout, who you can see on screen. And as you might have guessed, this activity focuses on a specific form of scam, that is phishing. It has lots of visual examples for learners to study, and then they are going to feed them to the trustworthy trout. But they need to be really careful because scams are going to make him sick. And we've tried really hard to provide a range of different examples here. You could definitely repurpose these, maybe as a quick activity that you use throughout the year. So challenging learners to spot the signs it's a scam, whilst also revisiting those key messages and helping to kind of embed and refresh their learning. Which leads me on to the 11 to 14 pack. So if you are short on time with this age range, I think, again, the quiz is a really good place to start. Messaging is stepped up a level again, and it's signposts to organisations such as Action Fraud, who are part of the police and who you can report scams and fraud to. Next, we have signs of a scam. So like the equivalent activity in the 7 to 11 pack, this has a range of different examples and challenges learners to explore all of the different clues that something might not be trustworthy. It's provided as a slide deck, so you could work through these on screen or with a group, or you could even pop one up at the beginning of the day, maybe whilst you're taking the register for learners to discuss. And all of the examples here are really inspired by what we heard directly from young people in our focus groups. They replicate real techniques used by scammers online. And we introduce examples relating to investment, cryptocurrency, online shopping scams, and scams that might start out as catfishing. And if any of those terms do sound unfamiliar, or maybe you're just a little less computer confident, that's absolutely fine. We provide accompanying guidance for every activity that's going to explain those key terms and give you the answers for any that you're not sure on. Our next activity for this age focuses on how young people can protect themselves from scams before, during, or after being targeted. And we've provided 3 longer examples for this activity. Learners should explore what each character might do next. And we've also provided supporting action cards to help prompt responses. So you could choose to give these to learners straight away, or maybe hold on to them and only provide them later on if they need a hint. And the action cards come as a full detailed set or a simpler streamlined set depending on the needs of your learners. And finally on the screen, you can see that the resources for 11 to 14s introduce the issue of online financial sexual extortion, often referred to simply as sextortion. You might be aware that this is a growing trend. It's been recognised by various organisations, including the UK Safer Internet Centre and the National Crime Agency. Sextortion is a crime, and when targeting children, a form of child sexual exploitation. However, at the outset, it often does also look like a scam, and it is financially motivated. Most importantly for us, it was recognised by the young people in our focus groups. So we did feel that Safer Internet Day is an opportunity to kind of provide you with some resources and activities to really help raise awareness of this issue and how to respond with learners. We do know that sextortion is a sensitive topic, so we've provided very clear guidance and a slide deck so that you have a kind of clear structure and wording on this issue to help you feel as confident as possible in addressing it. Okay, that brings us to the final of our 4 packs, but remember to stick around for the Q&A and a few final bits we have to share. So for the oldest age range, the 14 to 18s, again, we're suggesting the quiz as the quick activity. It has fewer questions, but the questions are much more challenging and they cover a lot of nuances, really focusing on lots of different possible responses to scams. For this age range, we really wanted to think about the additional risk that comes with that transition to adulthood and a time when young people may have more financial independence, maybe a regular income, maybe even bank accounts of their own. So for this reason, the resources for this age have some more detailed case studies on a few very specific types of scams. So money muling, for example, where we know criminals often target young adults and university students. That appears in the quiz alongside a pyramid scheme example and an investment scam example. For our group activity, we have some further examples, which, as you can see on the screen, are provided as a short narrative, and then they have accompanying questions. Now, we've actually run this activity by splitting a class into smaller groups and asking them each to focus on one of the case studies. And then prompted by the questions, they undertook some further research on the type of scam that they were looking at. The activity includes a romance scam, money muling, an impersonation scam, and an investment scam. What I loved was that one of the groups we worked with even chose to incorporate drama into their presentation, and this activity could definitely be adapted as a whole in a similar way. Next up, we have an activity on victim blaming. Victim blaming is the suggestion that a victim of a crime or abuse is somehow at fault or to blame for their experiences. Now, unfortunately, in our work in schools, we do often hear victim blaming attitudes from young people, often in relation to sexual harassment. So we were really interested as a team to learn a little bit more about the role that victim blaming can play in relation to scams. And as you can imagine, it's very easy to slip into language that inadvertently suggests victims of a scam are to blame. Even that phrase, fallen for a scam, it kind of puts the responsibility on the victim, not the criminal perpetrator. So what we've done with this activity, we want to really unpick what victim blaming is and the impact it can have, and it looks at different examples like those that we can see on the screen and gets learners to reflect on whether they are helpful or harmful things to say to a victim of a scam. And then the final activity we have to cover is the sextortion activity found in the 14 to 18 pack. This one is very similar to the activity in the 11 to 14 pack. So as well as breaking down what sextortion is and how to respond to it if they experience it, in the 11 to 14 activity, learners are asked to design an advice page on this issue. And then in the 14 to 18 activity, we want learners to imagine and design a support service that could help young people who have experienced sextortion. And a reminder that we also have 2 assemblies, one for 3 to 11s, which can be found in the 2 younger age packs, and one for 11 to 18s, which can be found in the 2 older packs. And the assembly is document number 4 in your initial download. Each assembly introduces Safer Internet Day before kind of focusing in on this year's theme, and the key messages to take away are all about reporting and getting help. So as in previous years, we've included editable slides for you to add the name of your designated safeguarding person or any other reporting routes that are specific to your setting. And we also have on the UK Safer Internet Centre website top tips for 7 to 11s, 11 to 14s and 14 to 18s, plus parents and carers, and separate specific tips for parents and carers of 3 to 7. So hopefully there is something for everyone, and they would definitely be a great option if you want to send things home to share with families. So that concludes our tour of the resource packs. I hope that's been useful, and do download those resources so you can explore what we've put together and adapt something for your setting. As a reminder, they're available in English and Welsh on the UK Safer Internet Centre website and hub, and they are free for anyone to access, so you can adapt them to suit your needs, whether you are a teacher or work with young people in another capacity. Now, I did also want to mention some fantastic resources which have been pulled together by the BBC. So if you head to the BBC Teach website, you can find all of these on their educational calendar underneath Safer Internet Day. And in particular, I wanted to flag that they have created 2 short videos on scams and phishing, which have been specifically designed to work alongside the UK Safer Internet Centre resources. And both of those videos are also available with British Sign Language translation. Unfortunately, we have not been able to create any video resources to kind of accompany the campaign this year. So we are really, really grateful that the BBC has been able to create some things that will certainly help to fill that gap. Now, on that note, we do have a special request for any of you joining this webinar today. The UK Safer Internet Centre is a partnership of 3 charities, and we do rely on support and funding to be able to run this campaign and provide all of the materials we've talked through today. So by registering as a supporter of the day, you can help us evidence the reach of the campaign, which is then really important to help secure that funding and mean that we're able to continue producing all of these free resources for you. So please, please, please follow the link that you can see on the screen, register your organisation as a supporter. You will going to need to supply a few details and also a copy of your logo so that you can appear on our interactive map. But we have changed the form from previous years, so you are no longer required to tell us exactly what your plans are. So if you are not sure yet, you can still register, and then your school will appear on our map showing supporters across the country, and you can kind of make that final decision a little bit further down the line. And last bit from me, you can also show your support on social media. We have a full social media toolkit available on the UK Safer Internet Centre website, which includes suggested wording and lots of graphics. And we will be resharing and engaging with as many of you as possible. So use the hashtag Safer Internet Day, and keep an eye on our accounts and subscribe to our newsletters as well. So this is your final reminder to submit any questions for us to answer before the session has finished. And whilst you are doing that, I would like to introduce Suan Richards from ISCO to talk about their live assemblies.
Diolch Amy, pnawn da bawb, afternoon all. I'm Suan Richards from ISCOL. I'm an operations coordinator, and as part of my role, I work alongside Hugh Davis, the primary leader. Before I jump into our assembly offering for Safer Internet Day, ISCOL is all about equity in education through technology. One of the things we like to offer to schools, and mainly primary schools, are topical and timely assemblies throughout the year. We held one at the beginning of the year for National Fitness Day with Lily Jones, who plays football for Wrexham Women's FC. 100 teachers logged in, so classes, schools, and a variety of different age audience across primary ages enjoyed getting to know Lily Jones better. We also just held assemblies with the Children's Commissioner for Wales Office, separate Welsh and English medium assemblies. There were over 100 logins for the Welsh medium and over 90 for the English medium assemblies. We believe we reached over 5,000 learners during those 2 assemblies alone. We hold these assemblies as a bookend model, with 2 assemblies running a week apart. In the first assembly, we introduced some content, but also set the audiences some challenges to do with the assembly and that content. We are then able to celebrate the learning or any tasks or challenges that they've been undertaking since that first assembly during the second and final assembly, and really making a show of what they've been getting up to. We've got another assembly booked with Keep Wales Tidy for Earth Day later on in the academic year. But we're here, of course, to talk about the partnership with Hub and Safer Internet Day specifically. So, how exactly will these assemblies work? We'll be holding the first assembly the week before Safer Internet Day. We'll be holding the primary editions on Monday, the 3rd of February. The Welsh medium assembly will be held at 9:15 and the English medium version at 10. And then exactly the same model the following day for the secondary editions on the 4th of February. So Welsh at 9:15 and English at 10. So there'll be a whole week then to get cracking with all the challenges that we will be setting that first week of sessions before we hold the same model the following week on Safer Internet Day itself, with all the assemblies actually taking place on that day, the 11th of February. We're aware that these times might not be suitable for all schools, especially in the secondary sector, so we do record them and place them on our YouTube page. Schools are then able to use them in their own time. So what will we be focusing on? Well, the theme of the day, of course, as Amy's mentioned, is Safer Internet Day, too good to be true. We've been provided with the resources ahead of time, thank you to the UK Safer Internet Centre. We will be focusing on that theme for the assemblies. We do like to use engaging software at ASCOL, so Mentimeter and especially Kahoot. We're big fans of a Kahoot quiz at ASCOL. So get your smart devices ready ahead of time if you'll be joining us for these assemblies. So the team then. Here are the team who will be providing these assemblies. Who will be facilitating and presenting the primary ones, joined by a resident expert, Daniel North, who works for Cyberfirst and Technocamps. With the secondary sector then, it will be the same model whereby Stephen Williams and Glenda Harve-Jones will be facilitating and presenting, and Tommy Rowlands from GWE will be joining us as the expert. So just to finish with a reminder of the timetable for the primary and the secondary sector assemblies. The registration link is available on Hub and on our social media pages, so do sign up. Diolch yn fawr iawn. I'll now hand back to you, Amy. Diolch. I think you're on mute, Amy.
You're right, I absolutely am. Thank you. We made it all this way before a tech slip up. Thank you, Suan. Really appreciate your support. And also thank you, Sarah, who joined us earlier. Okay, we have got 5 minutes or so left for any questions. So I am going to open that up and take a look. So a reminder, submit any final questions that you have now. And I would also love to invite you to use the QR code that you can see on the screen to complete our short evaluation for this session. Okay, bear with me while I switch screens and see if we've had anything come in to the Q&A. Okay, this looks like it might be a question for you, Suan. Will the ISCOL assemblies be suitable for ALN learners?
I'll have to look into that, Amy. It's usually primary schools and secondary schools, so I'll have to look into that and discuss with Hugh.
Great. Okay, no problem. I think we're going to be sending out a recording of this webinar, so maybe we can include an answer alongside that to make sure that Dan's able to get the answer to that question. And Dan, even if those assemblies aren't quite right, we've obviously also got all of the suggestions for adaptations in all of the other resources as well. So hopefully you'll be able to find something that you can adapt for use with your learners there. That was the only question that we have submitted. Hopefully that means that we've covered everything else that needs to be covered. So I think we will probably wrap up there. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope it's been useful, and we are really, really excited to see what this year's Safer Internet Day is going to bring. If you do just 3 things after today's session, firstly, please do check out the website and all of the resources available, whether that's on the UK Safer Internet Centre website or on Hub. We're really grateful to the partnership there and for their support in making these available bilingually. Do register as a supporter of the day so that we can really track the spread of the campaign and make sure that we can continue to provide these resources in future years as well. And most importantly, make space for those conversations about life online with the children and young people you work with, starting on Safer Internet Day, but of course all year around. Thank you again to everyone for coming along. That is it from us. So have a very lovely evening all.